In this video, I'm sharing 3 things you can do today to improve your marriage. So if you'd like to recharge your marriage by boosting intimacy and connection, all without really having to have that awkward conversation, I got you. For the best advice for reconnecting with yourself and your significant other amid the whirlwind craziness of motherhood and life, subscribe to my channel and be sure to hit the bell to be notified every time I post a new video. Hello, Stephanie here from EmbraceTheBeautifulChaos.com. I'm the author of Embrace the Beautiful Chaos of Motherhood, The Secret of Staying True to Yourself. And that's basically a book that the first part is all about reconnecting with yourself amid the craziness of motherhood, right? Because there's just so much coming at us all the time that we can easily lose sight of ourselves and we can fall off of our to-do list and then it's just not good. The second part is all about reconnecting with our significant other because that's typically the second thing that just gets thrown under the bus once the kids come along. And life starts happening and stuff gets crazy and you're like, oh, well, I'll do it later. And then days and weeks and months, sometimes years go by and we lose total sight of who we are and also who we're in a relationship with. So today I am talking about some of my favorite tips of how to reconnect with yourself, how to reconnect with your significant other, to bring back that loving feeling and recharge your marriage in a really awesome and kind of easy way. Easy in that you don't have to necessarily talk about it and have that like awkward thing between you and your partner. These are things that I have applied in my own life with much success. My marriage now compared to how it was, say, 7-8 years ago, night and day difference. Like totally different in the best possible way. Because I've taken the advice that I'm going to give you and just put in the work. Step 1 in improving your marriage is to focus on yourself. And I know that seems counterintuitive, possibly, right? Like, wait, shouldn't I be focusing on my relationship or on things that are wrong with the relationship so I can fix it? And no, not at first. Very first, you need to focus on yourself and what's working and not working for you. But don't worry and don't freak out. Because I know that seems like a lot. Like, how the hell am I supposed to know? I created this really cool tool for you to help you take inventory of what's working and what's not working so well in your life in all the different categories. And it's broken up into easy, quick questions to just give you that bird's eye view of what's working and what's not. Because once we can identify where our energy is going and what's working and what's not working, then we can start showing up in a better way for ourselves. And that is the very first step. We can be a tremendously better wife, mom, employee, daughter, sister, friend, any title. We can be a much better version of that when we are well-resourced and when we're taking care of ourselves. When we feel good, the better we feel, the better we can show up for other people, the better we can love, the more compassion we have, all of it, all of the things. So take all of the good things and you're going to amplify that by taking care of yourself. And for the longest time, I swore that was counterproductive and it was like, but how am I going to do this when I already don't have time to do all the stuff that I have to do, let alone the stuff that I want to do? Like, it's so backwards, but it's really, 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 really not. So if you take nothing else away from this whole video today, this is the key in having a successful love relationship, and that's taking really good care of yourself. It's showing up mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, in every single dimension for yourself, taking a look at what's working, what's not, evaluating it, making the changes where necessary, and then just loving on yourself, right? And yeah, there's a certain place for bubble baths and face masks, manicures, pedicures, all of that. Like, oh, go get that deep tissue massage. There's a definite time and place. It's not just that, though. There's way more There's way, way more. So go to the link in the description and get the inventory. Take it, let me know how it goes. You can either leave a comment or you can DM me on Instagram. I'm always there for you. The second thing you can do today to improve your marriage is to, of course, focus on your partner, of course. But I'm going to share with you two of the best and most effective areas to focus on. And those are connection and appreciation. So the first piece with connection, I'm sure as a mom, you can relate to the fact that our days are pretty busy and pretty chaotic. From the time that we wake up to the time we collapse in bed, it's like, go, 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 go. Did you remember this? Did you get that? Where are your shoes? Where's this? Hey, can somebody help me? You know, you're just going through all the things. And in that chaotic momentum of your day, it's hard to snap out of it and go to your partner, or vice versa, have them come to you. And when they come to you, be in a place where you can disconnect from the craziness and the running and the constant going to a place where you can just be with that person. So instead of stirring the spaghetti and like, hey, how was that meeting? And maybe not even listening for the answer because you did your job. Like you remember that there was an important meeting, you asked about it, on to the next thing. Okay, next piano lessons or whatever it is, right? And instead of that, they come home, you're still there. Maybe you leave the stove. Nothing crazy. I don't want anyone's house to burn down. But you make sure that things are under control enough and you go over and that eye-to-eye contact, grab his hand or a hug, an embrace, something, kiss on the cheek or more. And you really ask and you steal away that 30-second or 1 minute period of time just for the two of you. Hey, how was your day? How did your meeting go? And then you pause and then you listen and you wait for that connection. And I was shocked at how powerful this is, like really shocked. Mainly because I was like, is that really going to make a difference? Because that's kind of a hassle for me to stop what I'm doing mid-task when I already have so many things to keep track of and then go over and, hey, how are you? And it doesn't have to be, hey, how was your day? It doesn't even have to be a question. You can go over and, hey, I missed you today. I love you. Whatever the comment is, you know what, is best between the two of you. That's your dynamic. Every single couple has their own individual, unique dynamic, and that's what makes love so beautiful. But okay, so make sure that you're connecting, and you can set a goal for yourself of 3 connections per day. Morning, in the afternoon, and at night. Could be a text message, hey, thinking about you, more than like, what's for dinner? Or what do you want me to make? Or can you pick up the dry cleaning? Can you do this? Not those, nothing related to tasks or to doing, but just related to being and being there for one another and enjoying each other's presence and starting that little rekindling of love and affection and bringing it back. And one small connection at a time, it's like brick by brick by brick that rebuilds like this beautiful castle. Anyway, so that's the very first piece, is the connection when you're focusing on the second step of reconnecting with your partner. The second piece is appreciation. Here's what I have to say about appreciation. It sounds great. Appreciation is like, I appreciate them. Yep, I'm grateful for my husband. I'm grateful for my kids. I'm grateful for her house. I'm grateful for all this stuff. But then when we're really in the thick of it and like the dishes are piled high and like all hell's breaking loose, we don't always feel that gratitude. Or when our significant other does something really freaking annoying and we're just like, serenity now, and we're calling on all things holy to come and help us in that moment. It's in those moments that you can really see that appreciation and irritation cannot be in the same space. So here's what I hear all the time from a lot of clients. They'll say like, well, what? Okay, fine, connection piece I can work on. But appreciation, he needs to focus on the appreciation. That's not with me. That's with him. He needs to focus on that because I do too much. I do X, Y, and Z, and he right? And you can fill in the blanks because, like I said, each dynamic is a little different. The details will change a little, but it's pretty consistent across the board that appreciation is one of the first pieces to go, just because irritation and appreciation cannot be in the same spot. They're different vibrations, they're different emotions. It's like a light and a darkness, not that one's necessarily bad, one's necessarily better. It's just that they are too different to be in the same space at the same time. You can't feel both. You can't. So, what do we do to get to a better feeling spot so we can bring in more appreciation? Well, the very first thing that I make sure that everyone that I work with knows is that, unfortunately, we cannot control our significant other. We can't make them become appreciative of us. We can't make them see things that they're not ready to see or they're not able of seeing. They can only give us what they have at that moment. They can only love us as much as they love themselves and with as much love that they have. They can't give more than that, the same way that we can, right? Like I can't appreciate something that I am not feeling appreciative of in that moment. Maybe in the future that'll change, maybe not, I don't know. Okay? But the very first thing is the only person that we have actual control over, an actual say of what we think, do, how we see things, all of that is ourselves. Very first. So once we shift into that, it's much easier to extend a little more grace to our partners because they're out of our control. I can't make him be appreciative for the stuff that I do. I can start with appreciating myself, and there's a whole video that I've done. I'll link it up here. But until that happens for me, I'm not going to, I might not even appreciate the stuff that I'm doing. I might take myself for granted. And then that'll just trickle over into every other relationship in my life as well. So kind of bringing back in that first piece, appreciating yourself first, but then also thinking of things that you really appreciate about your significant other, even if you have to really zoom out and think way back when you first got together. What did you fall in love with? What were the things that just drove you absolutely wild in the best way? What were they? Remember those things. Like reminiscing is a good doorway into appreciation. Just having this question in your mind of, all right, today I'm going to find at least one thing that I sincerely appreciate about my spouse. And have that intention in the morning and then look for it throughout the day. And then as those irritations come up, because they will, because they're annoying and we're annoying and it's life. It's married life. We will annoy each other. It's guaranteed. So once those irritations come up, maybe we're a little more gentle with them and maybe not. But either way, we still have that goal in our mind. Well, I'm still looking for something that I appreciate. And then maybe it's, a soft interaction between him and the kids. Oh yeah, I do appreciate how good of a dad he is. Or a joke that he tells that makes you smile. I really do appreciate his sense of humor. Or the way that he looks at you, or even as he's walking by like this stroke on your back, or whatever it is. Wow, he's noticing me, or this, or whatever it is. Maybe he's starting your car in the morning. Maybe it's an act of service. Maybe he tells you that he loves you. Wow, I am very appreciative to have a husband that tells me he loves me every day. Awesome. Whatever it is, as long as it's sincere. So when you're focusing on these two parts, the connection piece and the appreciation piece, over the course, give yourself a week to 2 weeks, and focus on this and see if more doors don't open for deeper connection, deeper intimacy. Connection and appreciation go hand in hand and are the absolute best groundwork that you can lay for step number 3, which is to create and start a goddess challenge. I go in depth detail in my book, Embrace the Beautiful Chaos of Motherhood. And then also I've created a PDF guide for you as well, so you can get all the steps and all the rules and all of the details about how to design your goddess challenge. Basically, I was looking for something that would give me the discipline that I needed and the push to put the work in and start showing up for my husband more than just physically. Right? Like, what did that look like? Because that wasn't working. It was very clear we were having a discussion, if you will, or actually it was a fight. We were having a fight, and he was saying like, look, I'm just so frustrated with how you're showing up and like just doing things either out of obligation or just showing up physically. You know, your mind's someplace else. It feels like you're someplace else. Like when we're together, when we're trying to be intimate, like, what the heck, right? Now, in my defense, I was a busy, tired mom, and I had a lot of stuff going on, and my head just wasn't there. Because if I got there, I would need like 8 hours just to decompress from the day, and then it's already time to start the next day, if I'm lucky. And then that leaves like no time for the actual physical interaction that we were looking for, right? Like no time for intimacy. And then it's that chicken and egg thing. Well, what comes first? Is it the emotional connection or is it that physical intimacy? And that really depends on, you know, your main love language and your partner's main love language and, you know, that couple's dynamic. So I go into all the details in the PDF, which is also in the link in the description. So check that out. It gives you the breakdown of the Goddess Challenge and to create on your terms, right? Like you don't want what necessarily step-by-step worked for me. I can give you the framework and I can outline it for you, but you're going to have to fill in the blanks and you're going to have to fill in those details to make it work for you. Because have you ever tried to follow exactly like to the letter what someone else is doing and then not have it work for you and then be frustrated? I don't want that to happen to you. I want you to have enough of an idea of how to take this and make it. But basically it was this. My Goddess Challenge, I describe it in my book too. It's a whole entire chapter. And just in the details of the Goddess Challenge, what that looked like, what the rules were, and what I did. I knew my goal in doing this was to find out how I could show up more than just physically, consistently for my partner and for myself. Because yes, you're doing this for your partner, but there's a part of you that needs this to happen. There's a part of you that when you reconnect with it, oh my God, it's magic. It's beautiful. It is like life force energy. So incredible, as much sacred as it is like sexy and spicy and ooh. So get the link, go to the link, get my book. And not because I'm trying to sell anything, like the link, the Goddess Challenge PDF is totally free. There's also the course that I created, Marriage Recharge, that you can go and learn all these things. So video is more your thing and you would need to hear it. Plus there's tons of extras in the course as well. You can use the code of Goddess Vibes and get a 50% off discount. Basically, we were having a fight and he was like, you know what? I think you're a great mom. I love the way you're doing this, this, and this, but you're a really shitty wife. That cut me to my soul, to my core. I was like, oh my God, how am I failing him so much? Like, what? And I knew that there was part of me that I was failing with as well. Like what was the disconnect? And I had to figure it out. I had to know. So I did what any rational woman does. And I started Googling stuff. I started looking for stuff. And I came across this blog post that was this lady who had sex with her husband every day for a year. And I was intimidated. I was like, every day? Like every day for a year? That's a hard ask. So I wanted it to be something for me. That was kind of my spark of inspiration. But I wanted it to be something for me that was doable. I didn't want to bite off more than I could chew. I wanted it to be something realistic. So I created my own 30-day Goddess Challenge. And in my 30-day Goddess Challenge, I had some basic rules. The first rule was to show up every day. And even if it meant initiating, even if it meant, doing some things differently than I was used to doing, being intimate with my husband every day for 30 days. The second rule was to focus and prioritize my pleasure. To focus on and prioritize my pleasure. So often what happens with women is like, we're just not there. And we're tired. And we're just like, you know what? You go ahead. I'll get you on the next one. But it was something that I knew had to change for me. And it was like divine inspiration. So I brought in the pleasure piece. Game changer. And that's the magic, like connecting with that's the magic that I'm talking about. And it's available to you. It's available to everybody. It's as simple as tapping into it, as setting that intention of, hey, I really want to find this. Like, what is this? And plus, it feels amazing. I have a little confession to make. When I created the Goddess Challenge, it was before I started writing my book. And I was thinking I was the only one going through something like that. Just because there's something so taboo about even sharing with friends, even opening up and, confiding in someone or like, oh yeah, this is what's happening. I'm having a hard time. Like I don't know, where is your focus or how do you prioritize pleasure or what do you, it's just something that I didn't talk about before. And as I started to write my book, it was something that I knew had to go in because it's part of the story. It's like one of the main game changers that through the whole process of reconnecting with myself, reconnecting with my significant other. So I had to include it. And I was like, well, maybe I'll just put it in the back and maybe not that many people will notice. But let me tell you, it is the one thing that I get contacted the most about, either through DMs or through emails, phone calls, texts, whatever. People reach out. It resonates so strongly with them that they have to contact me and they're like, oh my gosh, were you writing that for me? It feels like you were writing that for me. And it's so incredible to me to see that because it was part, I just kind of wanted to tuck in and like hide away in there, but I'm ready. I'm ready to share, and it's important because if it's something that you resonate with, that makes sense for you, that you're like, I know exactly what you're talking about, you're not alone. This is not just a you thing. It's not. It's super common. It's one of the most common stressors in marriage, and it's a big deal, and it deserves to be talked about more. So you can always feel free to DM me, email me. All my contact info is available and the best ways to contact me. And check out the PDF, the 30-Day Goddess Challenge PDF. I go over all the steps, all the details of what I did, the tips that I used, what got me through, and what I learned from the experience. It was a total life changer and highly, highly, highly 10 out of 10 recommend. Also, you can check out my book, Embrace the Beautiful Chaos of Motherhood. That's available on Amazon, either as Kindle, paperback, or even as an audiobook. And if you're like, no, I need even more, like I don't have time to even listen to an audiobook, I need all the supports, you can check out the Marriage Recharge course. I will link that below as well. And there's the discount if you use the code Goddess Vibes of 50% off. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this or love this video, interact with it somehow. It can be as simple as a like or a subscribe or a share. All of those boost my performance on the algorithm so more people can see this. And that's ultimately the goal, right? Like I want as many moms as possible to know that they're not alone in this isolated feeling of like, oh my gosh, I have this big problem and I don't even know what to do. And I'm just in too deep and life is going too fast. And this is a video I wish I had years ago. It would have saved me a lot. A lot of time, a lot of trial and error. Yeah, it would have been very helpful. So please, if you can, do your part. I'm so grateful. I look forward to hearing from you soon, and I will see you in the next one.